Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel where today we are going to just talk about what happened at Saturday night's main event, talk about what happened, how good the matches were, and we might as well just jump right into it. Now the matches for this card was Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship, Sheamus versus Braun for the Intercontinental Championship, there was a, contract signing for Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. There was Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman, and there was Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now let's start with Rhea versus Nia. And actually, before we even get to that, I just want to say, just straight off the bat, all of these matches were really good. This was a very solid pay-per-view, and nothing more, nothing less. It wasn't a great pay-per-view or a PLE or whatever. It wasn't, it wasn't a bad one either. It was a just perfect one for what Saturday night main event is, which is it's not supposed to be one of the big pay-per-views. It's just supposed to be, something supplementary every now and again. At least that's what I feel like they're going with it, going forward. And I feel like we definitely got that with this, version of it. So let's start off with the first match of Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. This one was just really good. I think it was better than their Elimination Chamber match that they had last year. I feel I don't know, it gives me a bit of hope of where we're going to go going forward in terms of the women's matches for the World Championship, because when it came down to the Liv Morgan Rhea matches, they always just felt alright. They never felt great. And I think that had to do with a lot of the shenanigans with Dom and Raquel. And I feel when you just have two people who are threats in of themselves, don't need other people, don't need distractions or whatever, they are good. They are really good with one another. Nia and Rhea are just really great. And overall, it was just a really good match. Nothing special. Nothing really huge came out of this show. So there's no returns or surprises I'm really going to talk about. But I suspected that Rhea was going to win this, and, I was right. I feel with Nia, this was just sort of they didn't really have anyone else lined up for Rhea. There's really nobody else on Raw that's really that has this threat to them in a way that you can build them as a big heel that could take on Rhea. And I think that's a big problem. I honestly don't think that Rhea's even going to defend this championship until WrestleMania. Whoever wins the Rumble will probably go after Rhea. I think that's just, the obvious case there. Whether it's Charlotte, whether it's Bianca, I honestly feel this year is a toss-up to see who could win the Rumble, because nobody else has really been built up outside of Tiffany and Rhea, who have already, gotten their gold. But maybe Liv, but I don't want to see them revisit this. Maybe Nia, but again, we just got it. Do we really need it again? I don't know. Could be Becky, run back what happened last year. That would be cool. What else? Maybe Roxanne, surprise winner. But again, that's a bridge we'll have to get to when we cross it. Royal Rumble is going to be this Saturday, so we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we had Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the IC title, and this one was just really fun too. I don't think it was as good as I wanted it to be, but the ending of it definitely got there, in my opinion. Again, all these matches, I would probably give them a 7 out of 10, because they were good. They were really good, but they weren't great, nor were they, bad. I would say they were really good matches overall. But with Sheamus and Braun, I feel it took a while for them to really get going, but when they got going, they got going. I thought it was very hard hitting. There were so many moments where it honestly felt fucking Braun almost broke Sheamus in half. Jesse Ventura's commentary on this match was great too, because there were so many of those moments where they do the count, they do for the pinfall, and the guy kicks out the last second, and it's oh, was it a 3? Was it a 2.99 or whatever? It's one of those, and he was just no, that's a 3. What are you talking about? And I do kind of like that, where it's just Jesse comes in to essentially just make fun of a lot of modern wrestling tropes. I don't know. But I feel it was really good throughout the entire match. I just wish there was a little bit more, but I honestly don't think that we're done with this storyline, to be honest. I feel this is definitely a program they could run until WrestleMania, and honestly, I would be fine with that. Maybe add some stipulations there, here and there. Maybe add another person. If Ilya Dragunov comes back, add him to it. That would be awesome. Think about it. Ilya Dragunov Braun Breaker, Sheamus in one big match. That's just gold. That's gold right there. Then we have the contract signing with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. I did not think this really needed to be on here. I feel like they could have done this on like SmackDown. I don't know why, because I would have liked it if they had another women's match in this, just to put it in there. Maybe give Lyra her first challenger, but they just did a video package on Raw with nothing for her, so not a lot of hope for where they're going to go with her reign. But I would have preferred it if they just had a match here or something. But we did get this contract signing, and it was good. It was really good. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes really, gave it their all. Nothing new has been said, in all honesty, but, it was a great promo battle for what it was. Shawn Michaels was there too, because the event was in San Antonio, where he's from, and he was supposed to get them to sign the contract. This led to a verbal battle between Shawn and Kevin. They signed the contract. It's official. At the Royal Rumble, there's going to be a ladder match between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, which will definitely be great. Kevin Owens is great in ladder matches. Like, I feel like that is just his specialty. He has done so many ladder matches that are just great. And this one is definitely going to be up there. I can feel it. But then after they signed the contract, they started to leave, but Kevin started to attack Shawn, but Cody saved him, and then Shawn Michaels gave him a big old sweet chin music. Not a super kick, okay? Ringside news. A sweet chin music. Anybody else, it's a super kick. With Shawn Michaels, it's a sweet chin music. And it was just cool. It was just a really fun time all around. I don't think it was needed, but it was in San Antonio. You might as well do something fun with Shawn Michaels, and it was definitely fun. And again, I think while they didn't say anything new, the promo between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes was fun. And next up, we had Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman, and now this one isn't really a part of my ranking because I don't like to rank matches that end in DQ or no contest. But this match, you can't even call it a match. There was definitely spots in it, and I will say this: I think Braun Strowman needs to be given some flowers for the fact that this man's knees are obliterated, and he has talked about the problem with his legs openly. But the fact that he's still willing to go out there and do this and still do the moves that he can't do as well anymore, I feel like he still should be given his flowers for what he is willing to try to do. But this match can't even be called a match. It can basically be called a crime scene, because Jacob Fatu just completely, he did that running hip attack in the corner that him and the Usos do, and so many other Samoan wrestlers do, and he just kept doing it to the point where the referee had to try to stop him, and then he threw the referee out of the ring. That called that was a disqualification for him, and he just kept doing it, and eventually he got into his moonsault. He was just obliterating Braun Strowman, so much to the point that he was bleeding, obviously, and that Tama Tonga, of all people, had to come out there and be the voice of reason for him. And I just love what they're doing with Jacob. And he is extremely over with the crowd with this. People just love this maniac who is just willing to demolish people. He isn't looking to win, he's just looking to hurt people. And I like what they're doing with this. I feel like this is gonna lead up to a him and Solo feud, where he just takes over the bloodline or whatever they call it now, because apparently there's news going around that they're going to try to get away from calling this group the Bloodline since Roman won the match. But we'll have to wait to see where that goes. I don't know. Maybe the Solo payoff will be after Mania. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, this was you can't call this a match. It was a crime scene. It's going to be interesting to where they go with this next. And then obviously we had the main event, which was Jey Uso and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. This might have been, I don't want to say the worst match, because I feel like they're all on the same level, but I think I enjoyed this one a little bit less than the others, but it was still a pretty good match overall. Gunther and Jey, are completely different ends of the wrestling spectrum, where Jey, he's just so over with the crowd, he doesn't need to do a lot of moves. And with Gunther, You know, he's a technician. He's gonna do, you know, his bag of tricks. But I feel like with this one, it was really just fun to see. I feel like this was the only match where you could definitely tell there was like a 50-50 chance for each of them, honestly, because Jay is extremely over, and also this Gunther run. I have said multiple times I have been enjoying it, but I do understand people's like criticism of it. It doesn't feel as important as everything else on Raw, honestly. Especially with like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, like that feels like the main focus, and then Gunther's just over there. And I think that's pretty bad in all honesty. I think they should like have Seth, Drew, and Punk, if they're going to feud with one another now, it should be over the world title. Like they need to bring that importance to the title back, and I feel like it's just not there right now. But overall, this match was pretty good. Again, I would say like every single match on this card was like a 7 out of 10. It wasn't, you know, it was pretty good. It wasn't like great, it wasn't bad. I would say they're all like on the equal level, but overall this was just a pretty good show. You know, nothing spectacular. It was just a fun show to watch some wrestling. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. Royal Rumble is coming up this Saturday. We got the men's Royal Rumble, we got the women's Royal Rumble, which has barely been promoted. Literally like everyone who was going to be in that match for the most part. Like, you know, they had people like, oh, I'm declaring myself for the Royal Rumble. They had an entire segment on SmackDown, this past SmackDown, of being like, yeah, I'm declaring for the Royal Rumble, and I'm declaring, just to be like, oh yeah, we forgot to have people actually like advertise this and like declare themselves for the Rumble. You know, unlike the men's who have been like advertising the Royal Rumble since like the beginning of the year, we need to actually do something about this. So yeah, the women's Royal Rumble, we also have a 2 out of 3 falls match between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. That's gonna be a pretty good match. The first time the tag team titles, well, any men's tag team titles, are going to be defended on a main roster PLE since WrestleMania. A little too late. I feel like there's definitely, you know, they could have done that with a bunch of other PLEs, but whatever. And of course we have Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship in a ladder match. It looks to be pretty fun. I'm going to be live streaming a watch party for it this Saturday, but I will see you all then, and I'll catch you all next time.